Hi, I'm Jamie Kokensparger, the Education and Outreach Director for the Lucas Soil and Water Conservation District. Our office provides educational programming for groups of all sizes, people of all ages, and in particular, I like working with Girl Scouts and any Scouts because I used to be a Scout. This is my original badge sash from the 1980s, and I like to tell Scouts that these are the experiences that can help you get your job someday and help cultivate your interest. And my interest in public service all stem from what I did in Scouts. So I was in Scouts from 6th grade all the way till a senior and graduated from high school. So these experiences, keep track of them, stick with Scouts, and the Scouts will stick with you for the rest of your life. Today we're going to do an activity called Why is the Lake Green? Or Lake in a Bag. So if you think about the earth itself, it looks like there's a lot of water, and there is. 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered in water. But of that, if we could take all of that water and put it into 100 buckets, 97 buckets are salt water, things we can't use. So we can just put those buckets out in the hallway, and that leaves us with our 3 buckets. But of those 3 buckets, 2 are in atmosphere, in the clouds, in the groundwater, in glaciers, or even places where it might be too polluted to use. So that leaves all of us on this earth, plants, animals, and people, with 1 bucket. 1% of the earth's water is fresh water that we can use. So makes it one of the most important and almost rare resources, even though it seems like there's water everywhere. So some of you in the Toledo area may remember back a few years ago when we could not drink the water because the lake was green with something called algae, which is producing a toxin when a particular type of algae is there that it makes the water unsafe for us to drink and even unsafe for us to use. So those of us in the Toledo area couldn't drink our water, couldn't use our water. We went to bottled water, and then the bottled water ran out. So a pretty tense situation, something we don't want to go back to. The good news is lots of researchers are working on this, and we've got lots of different things that are being tried, so we should be able to come up with a good solution. But there are things that even you or I in our daily life might be doing that we could change up a little bit and help our situation out on the lake. So today we're going to do something called Lake in a Bag. And we're going to start off with a little clear plastic bag. It's going to be our lake. And we're going to put in some clear hair gel. This is what we'd like our lake to look like, or our water at least, if we're going to drink it. We want it to be clear. We want to go swim in it. Animals to live in it. We'd like it to be clean and kind of clear like this hair gel. But throughout our day and other people in the area, we tend to do some things that end up in the lake. And one of those in the springtime, lawn fertilizer. We like green lawns and green gardens and big flowers and all those type of things. So we tend to put on the fertilizer, which is okay if we do it the right way, at the right time, the right amount, or maybe do a soil test. You might not even need to put anything on at all. So if you do your soil test, it's like getting a report card in school. It'll tell you what you need, too much of this, not enough of that, and you put just the right thing on, and you won't waste both your time and your money and the fertilizer if you don't even need it. So do a soil test for your fertilizer. We're going to put in some fertilizer beads into our lake. So kind of small. You might not see fertilizer in the water, but it can be in there. If you put your fertilizer on or have a good spring, you're going to end up with your grass. So here's your green lawn, and we need to mow that lawn. And when we do that, we end up with grass clippings that if you have an older style mower, you might have lots of large grass clippings. Sometimes people blow those out into the street. But all of those can get washed into the storm drain, end up in the lake, end up in a local creek or river, and eventually end up feeding the algae. So we don't want to do that. If you have an older style mower, you can bag your grass clippings and compost them. Or if you're in the market for a new mower, check into a composting mulching mower. They actually grind up the grass clippings small enough that they will go back into the soil, and the worms will break them down, bacteria will break them down, and they'll become natural fertilizer, which means less fertilizer you would have to use. Also mow high and mow less often. That will also help with the grass. Okay, so I'm going to put in some green glitter. That's going to be our grass clippings, so we now have those in there. Okay. And then how many of you have a dog at home? How many of you take your dog for a walk? How many of you pick up after your dog? Oh, some hands tend to go down with that one. Well, it does have to happen. Any living thing makes waste, so if it's not making waste anymore, it's not living anymore. So it does have to happen. But since pets are our responsibility, we need to be responsible too. So here's our dog. Take our dog for a walk. Make sure to bring along a plastic bag with you. It can be a grocery bag, any kind of bread wrapper, some kind of plastic bag, even a fancy dog bag. And best way to do it is just put the bag over your hand, pick up the waist, turn the bag inside out so you don't have to touch it, and tie up the bag and put it in the trash. That's what we're supposed to do with it. But that still leaves us with a problem. We're filling up our landfill with plastic and dog waste that we need space for other things. So I found this really cool thing called a doggy dually. There's different kinds, styles, colors, shapes, and sizes, but this particular one, you dig your hole in the ground, it sinks in like a little trash can, has a lid on top with a little foot pedal. You take the scoop your dog waste, put it in there. It comes with a little bag of bacteria that eats up the dog waste safely, puts it back into the soil, and then you don't have any of that extra waste. So pretty cool thing. Lots of other ideas out there, so check out what you can do with your pet waste. Okay, so let's put some pet waste in our bag. I have a brown bead in there, so there's our dog waste. Other things you might do around your yard or house is chemicals. And at first we don't think we use very many chemicals around our house, but when we start looking at bottles and spray cans and different things, there's a lot of chemical things in there, which is okay as long as we use what we need, only when we need it, find a safer alternative, do what we're supposed to do with it, dispose of it properly. But here's a good example. Washing our cars. If you do it in your driveway or on any paved surface, that water is going to wash off, usually into the street, end up in the storm drain, go to the river or creek, and end up in the lake. And this chemicals in here can also help feed algae in the lake, or at least cause problems for the lake. So if you're going to wash your car at home, try to wash it on a grass surface so that the chemicals and the soap and the cleaners will go through the soil, break down, get filtered out, and the water will go cleaner after that. If not, if you're going to go to a car wash, they have to recycle that water, keep it separate. It gets treated so it doesn't go into the storm drain. So it's a better, safer way to do your car. We're going to put in some chemicals in our bag. This is some blue tinted hair gel. Okay, and there's our chemicals in our bag. And then in the summertime, all of these things in our bag are now out in the lake. And as things start to heat up, the sun's going to shine. The lake will eventually get warm enough that it reaches about 72 to 74 degrees. That is prime temperature for the algae to form. So it's kind of like baking a cake. You get the right ingredients and you get the right temperature, you're going to end up with a result. And in this case, it's going to be our algae. So we're going to put some sunshine, some yellow hair gel in here to represent our sunshine. Okay, and we're going to seal up our bag. And we are going to be the wind and the weather, stirring things up, mixing all these things out in the lake, and let's see what happens to our lake. What happened to our lake? It's not clear anymore. No, it is now green and full of things we don't want in our lake. So I hope this will help you think about what you do on your everyday routines, what you're doing at home, some things you can do to help out. If we do this activity with your group, we have a tip card on water quality. Okay? And you can mow high, mulch your clippings, use the right fertilizer, right time, right place, clean up after your dog, clean up after your grass clippings, use the safer alternatives, and just do better on your daily routine, helping to help clean up our lake. All right. If you'd like more information about our programs, please visit us at Lucas Soil and Water at lucasswcd.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I've enjoyed my time with you and have a great day. Hopefully I'll see you in person.